I muted myself. That's why. But we're here. That's my bad.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
All right, welcome everyone to the HoopsCrush podcast. I'm Eric, aka HoopsCrush. That's Brady, aka Crushables. What's up? Sorry for the clunky intro once again. We'll
Yeah,
get this figured out
we're never
eventually,
gonna get that
Brady.
right. No, we're never gonna get it right. I feel like.
So Brady was gone the last couple Wednesdays.
Yep.
Where did you go? Did you have fun? Tell us a little bit about
Yeah, I
your
went to
personal life, Brady.
I went to South Carolina, so that's why I was gone for so long. I left the night that we would have had to do an episode, and man, I'm never doing that again though. The drive there was that was just too much driving. 19
How
hours
long of a
away.
drive is it?
19 hours. So
Oh, jeez, yeah.
yeah, so we were there for like over a week, but still, like on the road, I would say for over a week, but 19 hours is definitely something I'll never do again, especially with two kids.
Yeah. People are saying your mic's quiet again.
Oh my gosh. I mean, uh, yeah, I don't know. It's just how my mic naturally is, I guess, compared to yours. I don't know what to really do about it. Hold on,
I'll see if
maybe
I
I
can
can.
turn mine down a little bit.
There might be something I can do. Maybe I'm just a quiet guy. Does this
Is
help
that
at
true?
all? I don't know. I'm just messing with my filters now that I have on here.
No.
Well, I'm not sure. It's just how my mic is, I guess, or how the filters I have set are. Maybe I shouldn't have them on at all. I'll just turn all my filters off. How about that? That should fix the problem. Maybe. My mic might sound a little bit worse, potentially, but they're all off, so if I'm still quiet, I don't know what more I can do, honestly.
Yeah. I'm going on a road trip this summer down to like the LA area. Gonna see Rich while I'm down there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Um
That's awesome.
but yeah, that's about a 16-ish hour drive
Oh, man.
plus traffic or whatever. My kids are a little older now, so not quite as bad as traveling
Yeah,
with the little ones you're
right.
driving with. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Um
imagine.
But yeah, so good to have you back. Did you do anything memorable while you were there? Just visiting
Oh,
people? Or,
we met her sister down there, my wife's sister.
hmm.
They live pretty far. But it was my first time ever going to the beach. So funny enough, I don't know if Tori just said that was his first time too or something, or maybe he said it was just that
No,
area.
first time in that
Yeah, okay.
particular
So yeah,
beach.
no,
Yeah.
this was my first time ever going to the beach in general. And I'm one of
Wow.
those people that kind of have a fear of the ocean a little bit, but I didn't really have any problem getting in. It was just I think it's mainly if I was like on a boat, it would be worse for me.
Yeah. So you couldn't
Yeah.
do like a cruise or something.
No, I had the opportunity to do it in high school, but it was
Hmm.
during like during a season I was or during bowling season back then, so I didn't want to do it, but I don't think I would have liked it to be honest because of that.
Wow. So you've never been to like anywhere tropical or
No, not really. Not at
have you
all.
been to a lake, like a beach with a lake?
I mean, I've been to I've been to like a lake down here, but not
Yeah.
no tropical place.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's see for us in Oregon or Portland, we're so close to the beach, so it's like
Yeah.
weird thinking that you're stuck in the middle of the country and have never been there. Yeah.
Yeah, no. The main thing I have down here is some lakes. That's about it. So,
Are
yeah.
you scared of flying like Tori is?
No, I kind of am, but I've been on like several flights already,
Oh,
so
okay.
I feel like
Yeah.
yes and no. Cuz
So if you went to like Hawaii where you're like stuck on an island surrounded by the ocean, would that drive you
no,
crazy
I
too?
don't think it would. I think it's like I think it would be like on a body of like in a boat where I don't see land at all. I think is when I would go crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta
I
we gotta get you out sometime.
f-
Like you gotta
yeah.
visit. Yeah, Oregon beaches are they're a lot different than like your traditional beaches you think of, but they're nice and quaint and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's not like hot and it's not like everyone's on the beach in their swimsuits getting tan like type weather. But yeah,
Right.
it's still fun.
Yeah, honestly, the weather wasn't that great when we were down there.
Mm.
It was only hot one day, and it was like the first day we were there. So, um, yeah, nothing crazy. It was pretty mid weather for the most part.
Yeah, so we have our NBA Finals matchup set. Uh, we have the Thunder, who most people expected to be here after winning 68 games in the regular season. And then everyone also expected the Pacers to get here, right?
Yeah, everyone did. If you didn't, you're just not smart.
Right. What did you think of the Knicks Pacers series in general, and just the Pacers run through the playoffs? Since I haven't talked to you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. Very impressed, obviously, by the Indiana Pacers. The Knicks Pacers series was fun, and I remember watching Game 1, obviously, because that was the night I was about to leave, and like we were packing the car up while I was going, but obviously I was just like standing watching the TV because that ending was. I just had a feeling when it felt like the game was over. I'm like, I just can't roll out the Pacers for some reason. Like they just keep making magic things happen. So like my wife was like putting stuff in the car, and I was just still staring at the TV. So she was like getting mad at me, but obviously game 1 ended up being, it was crazy. Like the ending was insane. Cause I feel like you could almost say if Knicks take care of business in game 1, is a series different, because the way they lost that was just so disappointing and heartbreaking. But like it almost wasn't shocking at all to see the Pacers do that again. What is it, like their third time or second time doing it this playoffs alone? So it was fun. Game 1 was crazy. Halliburton like driving, and then it looked like he was going to take it to the basket, and then he
Line
gets,
drives
yeah,
back to the free
then he goes back, and then I just knew when he let it go, and then it bounced up there. I'm like, dude, there's no way, and
Yeah.
it bounced in, and man, honestly, I kind of wish it was a game winner. That would have been epic, but
Yeah.
obviously overtime happened, and
choke.
then and so they win both games on the road, and then yeah, they win both on the road, right? Isn't that how it started?
Yep.
Yeah, and then game 3, obviously the Knicks come out, make it interesting, but similar to how the Cavs and Pacers series went, they win game 4, and then the Knicks survive game 5, and then it looked like the Pacers-Knicks game 6 was about to be good, but then the Pacers just kind of took it. So it was a fun series, and I think the Pacers have just been a fun team in general. And I think it's funny that I feel like the two teams that are in the finals are, I feel like, the two most hated teams for like whatever reason. I don't know why it's like that, but it seems like a lot of people. Well, I guess I kind of understand the Thunder reason. The Pacers one, I mean, I'm not sure. I guess people just don't like Halliburton. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for some reason, Halliburton's just thought of as, I mean, he won the most overrated player survey, and then he talks trash, and a lot of Portland fans, that follow Dame to Milwaukee and stuff, don't like that he's been getting into it with Dame a few times. They've had some moments in the past couple of years between Milwaukee and Indiana, with him tapping the wrist and stuff like that. And Dame got a technical in, I don't know if it was with Halliburton or not, but he got a technical from the bench in one of the playoff games in the first round. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. I think there's also a little bit of this isn't necessarily fans, but like people don't want like a team like the Indiana Pacers. They want the big name teams, like, which is dumb. But like if you're a fan of basketball, right? But I think especially like the national agendas and stuff, they wanted the Knicks probably over the Pacers in this one. But yeah, I don't know how you could other than if you carry over those things with the hatred of Halliburton. I don't see how anyone could root for a team like New York over this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Pacers are a ton of fun, and it's a great story because they've built it in a different way, and it's just been successful for them. So, I think it's rare that we'll see a team the way they've been built make it this far, which is why I think it should be appreciated rather than hated on, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's cool. We have two small market teams, two of the smaller markets in the NBA. And then on top of that, we have two teams that are not currently in the luxury tax, which is also very rare for the finals. I don't think since 2012 we've had both teams. We've had some champions that have managed to avoid the tax, but for both of these teams to not really make the financial investment it seems to take to win a championship, it seems unlikely, like you said, that they would both be here, especially the Pacers. But yeah, it's I think it's cool. I think it's fun. And the only issue I have really with the Thunder is that like I don't want their dynasty to start yet. Like I feel
Yeah,
like if they lost this series, there could be some pressure on them. Like, can they get over the hump all next year? And that could lead to them possibly never winning a championship if that pressure got too great, or if Presti decided to make a move to get them over the top or something, and it ruins their chemistry or something like that. Or, you know, as the years go on, they're going to have to make some tough decisions like they did the first time around when they had a bunch of like MVP type guys with Westbrook, Durant, and Harden. So they're gonna have to manage their cap a little differently with the aprons and stuff going around. So if you could just hold off on them winning a championship, maybe you could see a scenario where they don't ever win one, and that would be awesome. Um, and Yeah, so I'm kind of rooting for the Pacers just for that reason. Just because I feel like if Oklahoma City wins this, they're going to be good for like a decade, and it's going to be really hard to knock them off because they'll probably just keep most of their core together, and they're all super young. So, yeah, I think that's the only reason why I don't. But I don't like hate Oklahoma City or anything like that.
yeah. I to me, I feel okay with whoever wins this series. Like, I think eventually, if the Thunder, maybe find a way to get as annoying as the Warriors did, where they made it every year, I think people start to get. Well, people seem to already be tired of them, like I said, but I think I would be tired of them. But I do like that everything. It feels like there's a lot of parity right now.
Mm.
But yeah, it does feel like the Thunder have a sustainable product to where this could be their scenario every year where they could be making it to the finals while the Pacers may not have this opportunity again. Although the East is going to be, of course, wide open again next year with Boston having no Tatum. But yeah, I am also rooting for the Pacers, but I'm not saying you said this, but it wouldn't bother me if the Thunder did win, at least for now. But I do know that again they could do this for years on end. Like, of course, the only thing that could stop them is money, but even then, they're going to be fine for at least the next 2 years, and then after that, they have so many draft picks that if they keep nailing those, they're still going to be cheap in that scenario anyway. So, like, they're just an unstoppable force that, if everything goes right for them, they could be dangerous for however long they want to be. So that's the scary part when it comes to Oklahoma City Thunder. Their rebuild has been done correctly, and obviously both these teams have benefited off trading Paul George away,
Yeah.
which is funny. Yeah, but this is gonna be a fun series, and I also am rooting for the Pacers. And I had this money stuck in a sports book that I couldn't pull out. So it was exactly $100. So I decided to throw 100 on the Pacers to win. So we'll see how it goes.
What odds did you get?
Plus 650, I think.
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, screw it. I mean, like I said, I couldn't pull the money out at all. So I just said whatever. I don't even gamble anymore really at all anyway. So I just
I mean, might as well take a flyer.
Yeah,
Right?
let it ride.
So if you win, you can't take it
No, I
out
don't think
either.
I can take it out either.
It's just gonna be
I
stuff.
have to like
You
play
just
through
have a
40.
bigger amount that you
Yeah,
can't.
I have to play through like $4,000 or something like that before I can take anything out. So I'm not even close to it. That's why I just said whatever. I'll just take. Yeah. So.
Yeah, might as well.
Yep.
Hey, have you seen like the Avengers movies and stuff?
Yeah.
So the moment where Doctor Strange like figures out that there's only like one outcome to win in the end.
Oh yeah.
So I saw a picture of this on Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't know who to give credit for, but it was the Dame in the pile after he hit the shot moment. And then it was like Doctor Strange wearing a Thunder hat. Like this was the way that they had. I thought that was like a perfect. Like it hurts, but like that's like the perfect analogy, right? Like
yeah, that is hilarious.
like they had to have that happen to them so they could build this team, and that was the direct result of this. They get SGA from it. They get all these picks that lead to players like J-Dub and stuff like that. So that was yeah.
I like that.
It's tough now seeing that's what led to this, and then the Pacers initially trading Paul George to get Oladipo and Sabonis, and then eventually traded Sabonis for Halliburton, and that ends up spearheading this iteration of it too.
Yeah, yeah. I even told my fellow Thunder fan. I was watching some of the conference finals games with him in Discord. I told him that you guys should be thanking us for this because we're the ones that sent you into this.
Right.
But you guys,
who knows what would happen?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to wonder what if they didn't lose in round one, if that year would things be different. I'm sure they would be, but yeah, that's a great use of that. I love that. I did not see that.
Yeah. So you want the Pacers to win, but who do you think is going to win?
I imagine the Thunder win. I think it'll probably be Thunder in 6 if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Thunder are just too good, and Pacers have done a good job of pushing the tempo. It usually slows down in the playoffs, but they were still able to do it even against a team like the Knicks who try to slow you down. So if they can continue to do that, they have a chance. But the Thunder's defense is just such a different animal than anything they've faced so far. And I think they're going to have a tough time doing that. And even if they do play with pace, like the Thunder can match you scoring wise too. So, I think the Thunder are just a little bit better version of Indiana. So it doesn't mean that they can't have good games and maybe pull off an upset, but I think unfortunately the Thunder are just like everything that the Pacers want to do. It's like the Thunder do that too and do it better. So I have a hard time seeing the Pacers beating them 4 out of 7 games.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is the Thunder's time to get their ring. So I think that's what inevitably happens.
Eric Olson says the Thunder are like the Pacers with more ways to win.
Damn, waving goodbye sent us in an alternate universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Yeah, and that was like everyone thought we were ending the Thunder's franchise, but actually, we're the franchise that ended, right?
I guess so.
New ownership sometime, right? That would be different.
Yes, exactly.
So, Brady has his channel Crushables here on YouTube. Go check it out if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to that. He recently did. He does, the rebuilds of teams that are out of the playoffs now. So he has.
Oh man, we lost Eric for a second. Hold on. Good old collab cam. Rest in peace. Well, I can't really build off what he was going to say because I don't know where he was going with that. Or I would just keep talking, but Well, I guess I can kind of say that. I'm assuming, yeah. So we've he got Thanos. He's back. He's back. Looks
Uh,
like you got Thanos snapped out of here.
uh, anyways, go check out his channel. But he recorded the Knicks one right before Thibodeau gets fired. So
Yeah.
that wasn't part of his video, but not that it really matters for player wise. But
Yeah.
what did you think when you saw the news that the Knicks decided to can Thibodeau and the fact that they're now saying it's like championship or bust with their roster?
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I didn't expect him to make that change. To be honest, like, I mean, I was kind of like I said, it doesn't. I guess I should reword it. I didn't expect it to happen, but I guess I'm not that surprised in a way. Just because I thought, he obviously did a great job getting to the conference finals, but I saw Knicks fans saying that this probably more likely means that Cat is staying, and they want to find someone that maximizes Cat because they don't feel like Tom Thibodeau does a great job of doing that. So maybe that's
In two
why.
different places now.
Yeah, two different places where he gets fired when Cat's there. So yeah, I don't know. I was a little shocked by it, but also not totally surprised, just because the Knicks, they did what they did to trade for obviously OG and then Mikal Bridges, and they got Cat, so they have just been, and then obviously acquired Brunson, so they've been in the window to obviously go win it all, and this is another step towards that, and they feel like this is the right way to do that. Then go for it, and we'll see who they end up hiring. But it'll be interesting to see who they go for to replace him.
Yeah. See, my problem is okay, so now you're setting it up to where if you don't win a championship next year, that way you're just going to fire the coach again. Like, it's
Yeah,
really
that's
hard to win a
interesting.
championship. And on top of that, I mean, say what you will about Thibodeau, he's not the one who like missed a couple free throws in the final 50 seconds of game one.
Yeah.
Like you said, if that game goes differently, there's at least a game seven. If not, they have momentum, and the Pacers, after losing game one, probably don't feel as good about themselves, aren't as confident. So that series plays out differently, and they probably win that series. So and then as Eric Olson points out, you could make the case he outcoached Missoula in the previous series. Now I know Tatum got hurt, but they were up big in the second half of game 4 or something, about to go up 3-1 on them before he even got got hurt. So in my opinion, it's tough because we know Thibodeau tends to run a short rotation, run players into the ground and stuff like that. But I mean, if he doesn't have the depth to play, if he has to do that with his rosters, that's also a different
I also
story.
feel like he did go to his bench a little bit more than he
Yeah,
has. So
he shook up the starting lineup a little bit. He tried. Now maybe X and O's wise, he should have done a little bit more, but and offensively wasn't great. But maybe you bring in an offensive coach or whatever. But over the past few days, I've heard that like a lot of buzz that the players had more of an issue with Brunson's dad being a part of the coaching staff than Thibodeau.
yeah,
Uh,
interesting.
but yeah, it'll be fascinating to see who they hire as coach, because it's got to be someone who can get them over the top if you do that. But I feel like Thibodeau was right there. There was a play in that final minute of the game where Brunson took it in and shot like with a ton of time left on the shot clock still. And like if you just hold the ball there, pace, you probably win. And it's like, I don't know how much of that you can blame completely on Thibodeau. So sometimes the players just don't make plays,
Yeah.
and they give up a shot that bounces 85 feet in the air and goes in. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily coaching, but then I see all these people like, you don't understand basketball if you think Thibodeau deserved to keep his job. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I mean, I understand why they did it, but like, to me, the Knicks have been bad for a while. They haven't had as much success as they've had under Thibodeau in a long time. And so I don't know. I would have probably kept him for at least another year.
Yeah, same. I think, I mean, this is the first time they made it to the conference finals, and I can't remember exactly how long, but it's been a while for them. So, and went to 6 and 2 games. They could be in the NBA finals, and yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he gets. I mean, because is there even any vacant spots left, or are they all gone now?
Well, Phoenix just hired Ott
Yeah.
today, so they do not have a spot. I mean, stuff could still happen, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the year Monty was fired from Detroit. That was last offseason, right? That didn't happen for a while into the offseason, I think.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, maybe something opens up, but we'll be
Maybe
interested
the
to see the
Thunder will fire Diagonal if he loses.
Yeah, yeah, they'll just fire him. I mean,
Yeah.
coaching is low security job, so you never really know, man. You could, and I see people talking about that all the time, how low security being a coach is, or I mean, just in general, I feel like any front office position or coaching position, like the expectation is just astronomically crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
So, while they're
Well,
open, that's why they're taken. So.
Well, get this. Where do you think Chauncey ranks in terms of like the most tenured coach in the NBA right now?
Oh, that's a great question. Is he already top 10?
Yeah, he's in the top
Oh
10.
my gosh, that's
He's
crazy.
eighth now. He's eighth.
Wow, that's wild. Because
That's crazy, yeah.
I immediately thought of Spoelstra, obviously. And
Yeah.
then,
I think Spoelstra's the longest tenured, and then it's Kerr.
oh yeah, that's a good one too.
And really it's only eighth by technicality because one of them was just hired like 3 days before him. I forget who. It might have been Carlisle. I think was hired.
Carlisle. Yeah.
Well, Lou was a year before because Chauncey
was a
coached
assistant.
on it. Yeah, coached with them for a while. But yeah, so yeah, we got one of the most tenured coaches in the NBA right now.
That's pretty wild to think about, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
I think Diagonal's longer. I think by a year, or he was the intern coach at like the end of the season before. I think.
Is Billy Donovan top 10?
I don't know where.
But I guess he coached the Thunder for a little bit after they traded all of them away, I think. I think he coached for at least one more year. But yeah, I don't know. Low security job, man. Oh yeah, I guess Trevin's right. Bill Donovan would be the same as Dagnall because Bill Donovan took the Chicago job right away. At least I think so.
Yeah, that offseason, yeah. But no, Diagonal would have been a few months before because didn't Donovan get fired during the season.
Oh, did he? I can't remember.
Or no, actually, I don't remember because the dates are all messed up on some of those years because COVID like made the season, like the 2021 season started. Like the off-season moves were in like November and December, so like it was, yeah.
Eric is asking the important questions. What was the exact date?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. All right, so Tori didn't really want to talk about this on stream, and I get why.
Oh God.
Because this is a very difficult subject to navigate, but I do feel like it needs to be talked about, and that's the Zion situation. So he was accused of basically sexual assault stemming back several years ago. It's always tough in these situations to know exactly what to trust in terms of the information because it does boil down to a he said, she said thing, and then it comes back to like it being several years later, and there's a lot of money involved as well. And I'm not saying either way right or wrong. Someone's lying or whatever. Who knows? But it's just it makes it tough to completely know what the truth is when it doesn't happen for so long. So it's hard to navigate. But when it comes to someone like Zion, in my opinion, I mean, he's got the injury issues, which is completely fair game in my opinion. He's got the weight problems, which is fair game in my opinion in terms of just basketball stuff. And then now he's got this hanging over him. He's had some stuff in the past with the porn star, with the baby mama drama, with two different women, and all this kind of stuff. It's just it's not just like one thing, and like this thing should ruin him if it's true. So like, but I don't know. A lot of other players in the past have kind of skated and been fine. Like maybe not public perception, but in terms of still playing in the NBA and still making a living there. So I don't know. What did you think of when you heard the story, and what do you think of like obviously you can't trade for Zion now, right?
Yeah, so I briefly kind of know what this is about. It's kind of ironic because I pre-recorded, obviously a Pelicans video while I was gone. And the day that I scheduled it for it to drop is the day that the news dropped of that stuff. So I had a bunch of people commenting, this dropping is, the same time as the Zion news is crazy or something like that. And I didn't really know what people were talking about, and then I saw it. So I haven't really read on it. I just kind of know, what it's about. It's not the same girl that he had issues with. It's a different person now. Is that right?
Yeah, this was a girl who. So he says it's just a casual relationship. She says she was his girlfriend, and then there were several times, I guess, where he basically said she has to have sex with him and stuff if you're gonna spend the night with me, or if I'm like, you're not leaving without doing this or whatever. And then there was some choking incident involved apparently, and then something with like a gun at one point. I don't know.
Seeking I mean, 18 to 50 million. Damn. Yeah, I mean, does this get to a point where Zion, because his contracts, I don't know what his contract details are, but isn't it some of it like non-guaranteed to like where the Pelicans would just?
Yeah, so I think every year he doesn't play a certain amount of games, it becomes non-guaranteed. So as of right now, I don't know if he played a certain amount of games this next season, if that changes the future year or not. But as of right now, only like they could just eat his contract for 1 year, and then it would be non-guaranteed the rest, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, this is just a guy that's just had way too many problems off the court. Like his trade value, and I think I already saw a report. I think Snaggy sent a screenshot because obviously he's running the Pelicans in the mock, that like the value would be like expiring contracts or something like that, or something along the lines of that. I just think this got to a point when I was already saying like that this is the offseason that the Pelicans need to give up on Zion. Like there's just too many injury problems, too many red flags off the court, and then now there's another problem. So any team wanting to trade for this guy, like I get it. It's always the what if he is healthy, then how good could he be? But man, he just comes with so much baggage, and this is like his career is still like, for the amount of games he's played, it feels like he hasn't even been playing that long, and this is just a recurring issue with him. I just feel like any team wanting to take a chance on him, I would just steer clear and not even go close to, touching Zion anymore at this point. And I find it like, I feel like I was actually quite shocked, by the way, that New Orleans even had him representing them at the lottery. That was kind of weird to me because like the reports saying that they were going to trade him and then he was there represented
Yeah.
was very weird to me. But yeah, like I feel like the Pelicans aren't going to get much for him if they try to trade him right now. So does that get to the point where they would just eat that 1 year? They just want him off because of the drama that comes with him, and then that I think. And if something gets settled, he'll be picked up by somebody because, like some I don't know. I feel like he'd be signed somewhere if that were to happen. So it's definitely a crazy situation, and it's unfortunate because obviously he came in as such a generational prospect, and it's just not been great at all whatsoever when it comes to him in so many different ways.
Yeah. So there was also a report that any teams that have contacted the Pelicans, this even stems to before this news came out, that they were offering bad contracts and very little else for him. Like they're just being totally lowballed. So now that figures to get even worse if any of those teams are even interested. And then they had to come out and say that they're going to build around Zion now, and he's still their main option moving forward. So, I mean, I don't know. Even if you wanted to, can you depend on that guy? Even if this wasn't the case with this, even if it comes out that it's completely false. But the issue with this kind of stuff is, I mean, unless it comes out or there was a punter for I think he was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. Matariza, I think it was,
Matariza, yep, remember that situation too.
And he was accused of rape, and it turned out the girl completely lied about him even being there. Or he wasn't even there or something. Mm-hmm. And so he was eventually, released. He was exonerated or whatever, and then but like the damage had already been done. He'd already been cut from the Bills, and I think he's back. I think he was with the Chiefs last year or something.
Yeah,
but like,
he is.
So like he ended up getting his career back, but like the damage that does to your reputation. But short of something like that happening, where it's like proven to be false, it's tricky, man. It's like the Chauncey Billups situation when he was hired here. Like, like no one knows the truth of what actually happened that night except for the people that were there. And so, like, who do you believe? What I don't know. I don't really know, man. But this is something that's not ever really going to go away. And then you combine it with, like I said, some of his other drama with women that have happened in the past couple of years, and just whatever happens with him, I don't think it's a headache that the Blazers or most other teams will want to deal with.
Yeah, no, I can't see him being desired by anybody unless, like I said, he is been like being given away for free. I just don't see anybody giving up anything crazy for him anymore at this point. I think his value is completely dead. He is too talented to be cut. Yeah, you could make that argument, but man, he just has so many red flags. The weight has always been a problem. And now all this, like, just it's just so many red flags with him. It's crazy.
Yep. Oh.
Unless you're the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. You're in agreement. Blazers don't.
Oh, definitely not. I wasn't even a big fan of trading for him to begin with. So
if they called and offered him for Jeremy Grant, straight up.
Oh, that's a little tempting. Not gonna lie. If it was straight up, I think I'd still do it because we get off Grant's horrible contract.
You just cut Zion? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an expired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about you chat? Like, would anyone do that?
Yeah, Chris says. Yeah, I agree. I think you trade for him and then you cut him.
Gosh, that's so tough. Because, like, it was Kevin Porter Jr., right? That the Thunder traded for. They got like a second round pick out of it, and then they just cut him.
Oh yeah.
But like they still got crap from people like saying like, oh, you traded for a domestic abuser or whatever,
Yeah.
and so like even if the Blazers just did it for cap reasons and cut him and like yeah. But yeah, I think if you could get off Grant's contract, you do it like and then just yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I would definitely do that, but I don't know why the Pelicans would do that.
Right. Well, I would think if the Pelicans did that, they probably know that this information is somewhat truthful that came out. So then they're just like, oh, okay, we'll just dump him. On the one team that's dumb enough to take him.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's a tough situation to navigate though.
Yeah, good luck to New Orleans. They got a lot of problems in New Orleans right now, man.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to Kevin Durant. It seems like he is going to be traded this offseason. Came out today that the Spurs are one of both his top choices to go to, and also they're obviously in a position to have assets to trade for him and still have a really good team. So do you think the Spurs are a good fit for him, or ultimately where do you think is the best fit for Kevin Durant right now that has a realistic chance of trading for him?
I mean, I feel like Durant fits well in a lot of places, but San Antonio does make a lot of sense. I also do like the idea of him going to pair with Anthony Edwards. I'm just not really sure that gets them over the hump against a team like the Thunder. But yeah, I think obviously I also loved the idea of Houston trading for him just because I think, obviously he fit well there, and I don't think he would like gut them completely, and they're looking for like some more help there. So I definitely, and he'd be reunited with Ime Udoka as well. And I know those two used to get along well. But if it is indeed the San Antonio Spurs, obviously the Spurs are looking to contend while Wembanyama has the window that he has. And I think Durant would fit well there. And I don't think like I said, I don't think it would. Well, Phoenix might be asked for a lot, but at the end of the day, I'm not really sure he's going to go for it. He's going to go for a decent amount, but it's not going to be anything crazy if I had to guess. So I think Durant ultimately to the San Antonio Spurs seems like what's going to happen based off recent reports. Also saw like a fake page post that him and Giannis want to team up in Toronto or something, which I thought was real for a second. But San Antonio does make a lot of sense in a way that where they could trade for him and it wouldn't gut them completely.
Yeah, and as Gregory mentions in chat, the Knicks, like is Karl Anthony Towns for Durant? Maybe there'd be more involved, but is that you mentioned earlier that this firing of Thibodeau seems to indicate that maybe they're trying to make it work with Cat there in New York, but I mean, KD would be pretty interesting at the 4 there with that lineup. They still have not that KD's like a bad defender, but like he's definitely slowing down a little bit. Not quite as quick as he was, but they have the wings, to make up for that as currently constructed. So yeah, it's I could maybe see that. Booker and Kat have talked a long time about teaming up. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. It's weird with the Suns because, Ishbia came out today and said he was going to be more involved, but like, isn't he already super involved? Like that's the first thing I thought of when I saw that. And then, yeah, so, the Suns it's just they're in a weird spot because I don't think they're getting pieces back to win now, even if they keep Booker too. But like it would seem weird if they traded him for like draft picks and young players or something too. Like I don't see Ishbia really doing that. But
yeah, and they said Booker was heavily involved in the coaching search. That makes you think that he is, staying there as well, which is not shocking to hear. But you could argue it'd be probably the best decision to reset because they're in such a tough spot based off where they've dug themselves in. They better hope whatever they get in return for Durant saves them because they're in such a brutal spot right now. But we'll see what they get in return for Durant because that seems like it's inevitable. I mean, what are they going to get? Like, what are they going to get from the Spurs, you think? Like, is Vassell their best hope, maybe?
Yeah, definitely Vassell, just because the contract is probably needed to match. And then it's probably like Barnes also to match salary-wise.
Vassell, Barnes, and 14. But how much better does that really make you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It all comes back to Beal. Like,
I wonder if they got 14 and would they attach 14 to Beal or so. Well, then Beal still has to say yes. To
that's the problem.
Yeah, so
I said this the other night. I was like, if the Bucks called you and said we'll trade you Giannis for Beal, the Beal could say no, and the Thunder or the Suns could not get that trade, even if the Bucks wanted to do it, right?
It's so crazy to think about. Man.
Yeah. So I don't know how they get out of that situation. I don't know if there's a team they could convince him to. Maybe there's a team. There's a team, the Nets, who we'll move on to in a second, but they're looking for another lottery pick. Would they be willing to eat Beal's contract for a couple of years to if they got 14 in that deal? Or 14 is the last pick in the lottery, so I don't know if it's that valuable to the Nets, but yeah, it's crazy. I don't know, if you're Beal, why don't you wouldn't you want to be traded at this point? Like, why would you want to stay there?
Yeah, he has to know that they don't like him very much.
He gets paid the same either way. It's not like he gets more for staying there. Like a lot of players, have to stay in their situation to get maximize the payday.
Does he get more because of the trade kicker, or does that not matter for the player? Or is that just for the
team? No, the trade kicker, I don't know if it applies every time he's traded. I don't think it's like another. So I
thought they said when he got traded there that like the trade kicker still applied to the next team if he got traded or something.
Maybe it does, but yeah, if he if he refuses to waive the trade kicker, then it goes to whatever. If it's a 15% bump, then that's another.
Oh my gosh!
What, $2.5 million or something on top of his contract? Yeah.
I mean, you just know in this CBA that no one's gonna want. I mean, how many years are left in the thing? Is there like 3 years left in that thing too?
It's at least 2 more years, I think. Yeah, I think it's $110 million over 2 years is what's left.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe
the second year I think is a player option, but there's no way he's
he's not letting that. He is never gonna see that type of money again in his life. So
yeah.
Very bad. So you can't afford to pay bad contracts at this point in the NBA.
Yeah. And then so I mentioned it briefly, but the Nets, there's buzz, and I've been saying this for a few weeks on Blazers Uprise Live that there is some rumors that the Nets and Blazers could be involved. Now, I don't know if that's just between them or if the Nets, I guess, for some reason are trying to get Giannis. And obviously, if they made a trade with us, they could maybe potentially get some of those Bucks picks to incentivize Milwaukee. So I don't know how real that is. But then you hear the rumors again today for the second time in the past couple weeks that they're looking to move up in the draft to get a second lottery pick. They didn't have the greatest of luck falling to 8th after tanking and getting their pick back and all that kind of stuff. So if you saw the Blazers trade 11 and some sort of contract, whether that's Jeremy or Ayton or I guess Thibault and Robert Williams together fit as well. If you saw them trade 11 and some combination of contracts for 19 and Cam Johnson, would that surprise you?
I've seen that trade idea floated around. I think 503 has posted about it plenty of times. No, it wouldn't, because it would solve the shooting issue. Cam Johnson's obviously a great shooter. It would be an interesting. I think I'd be okay with it though. But at the same time, I'm not really sure how much better Cam Johnson makes us. I don't know. It's weird, I guess. Like, I don't know what we're gonna get at 11. That, like, I'm not, like, as you all know, that I'm not like a huge prospect guy. So I don't really know what's so special about having the 11th pick. So, but I don't know, because like we'd get is it 19 or 21 that we'd get?
They have 19.
Oh,
I think
okay.
they have 18, 19. They have 19, 20 something. They have a bunch of picks, but they're all like 19 or later, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just don't know if Cam Johnson, like, yeah, we get Cam Johnson, but I guess that would fit the Blazers' idea of trying to go make the playoffs next year. So it would not surprise me. That was the question. So no, that would not surprise me if that did happen. Now, would I be mad at it? No, not necessarily. I just don't really know how much better that makes us for the future. Like, yeah, we might go make the play-in next year, but I don't know. Do you think there's a big difference between 11 and 19, though?
Well, my issue is there's like a group of players, including Rasheer Fleming, Cedric Coward, trying to think who else. Like, we talk about these guys, and I think most of them, if not all of them, they're good players for the Blazers at 11, but I think they're all gone by 19. I mean, there's some mocks that have Fleming or Coward still on the board at 19, and those are the two guys that I personally want the Blazers to get the most. But I don't know. I think Fleming's going higher than that, and I also think that Coward had a decision. He was transferring to Duke and was heading into the combine, was leaning towards staying in school, and then decided to go into the draft. And when that happens, it almost seems like he was guaranteed some sort of maybe not an exact position, but I'm sure enough teams valued him, in the teens somewhere to where he thought that was worth giving up a big NIL deal and maybe improving a stock for next year. So I think 19 is tough because I think there's still going to be a good player at 11, but 19, I mean, there's still decent players you could choose from, but like an actual rotation difference maker might be a little tougher to get there.
Man, yeah, be interesting. What does your gut tell you? Do you think that the rumors are more involved because of Giannis, or you think it's the Cam Johnson thing? Or do we still get Cam Johnson in that scenario regardless?
See, to me, like, I don't think Cameron Johnson makes sense for the Blazers unless you're thinking about it in terms of they're trying to win now. He's a guy they've liked in the past. Like, he addresses their shooting problem. He's like a little above average on defense, so you're not like getting someone who's a shooter only who doesn't do anything else. Like, he can create a little bit. So like he has characteristics I think he would fit. Like, he's a plug and play player. I think I don't really worry about his fit on any team. So I don't know. Like it seems like a type of guy they would do that trade for. We've heard in the past they don't value their picks in the future as much as they do finding good fits player wise. So yeah, would it surprise me? Not one bit. I think it would actually make a lot of sense based on everything they've done or said. It just, I don't know. Like I feel like Jeremy has to be a part of that trade, or they have to have a trade lined up for Jeremy. If they go into next season adding Cam Johnson and basically like if it's for Rob Will, Thibault, and the 11th pick, and you basically got rid of two players who were fringe rotation guys depending on health next year, and add Cam Johnson to an already then a front court with Jeremy and don't address Jeremy's contract situation as part of it. I think that's kind of crazy. Like if you could get rid of Jeremy though as part of the deal, get off his contract. Cameron Johnson's got I think 1 or 2 less years, and it's for significantly less money. So not a bad contract at all. I think I'd do it. Plus, he'd have retrade value if things didn't work out, or if you wanted to flip him or whatever. But I don't know. I think I could definitely see the Blazers just adding someone like a Cam Johnson and thinking that that'll help win more games next year, and they're definitely a playing team then, I think.
I would be very happy with it if Jeremy Grant was involved somehow, for sure. I think that would make me feel a lot better about it.
I'll tell Brooklyn that too. Like I'm saying, we'll only do this if it's Jeremy for him, because then they can take his contract at the difference in money helps you a lot. So
yeah, it's just kind of interesting to. It's interesting to see where Brooklyn's gonna go, because I think I remember you. I was watching you guys stream while on the road. I think I remember you saying that, Brooklyn did all of this just to get their picks back and rebuild, and now a year later they're gonna turn around and try to contend again. Like, it's just.
Well, the Blazers finally admitted last offseason that they're in rebuild mode, and now it's 1 year later, and they're like, "Nope, we're going for the playoffs. Like that's our goal." Like,
yeah. The ball changes quickly. So, man, yeah. If Grant 11 and then Cam Johnson, I think like what? Because Cam Johnson I know he makes 20 something. I can't remember the exact second number, but I'm assuming we'd have to have another salary in there, maybe. But yeah, I'd be all over that. I'd be okay with that.
Well, the Nets have.
Or they have cap space.
Yeah,
that's another thing. I didn't even think about that.
They potentially have over $50 million in cap space, even with some of their cap holds. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, they could just take him if they got 11. What? So they would have 11 and 8.
Yeah, I don't know. See, that's the one problem I think with this whole scenario that I think a lot of Blazer fans are jumping at, like, oh yeah, they want 11. We have, or they want a lottery pick. We have 11. But to me, it almost seems like they want a higher pick than that.
Yeah, that's what I would think too.
And there's a team one spot lower or one spot higher than us at 10, the Houston Rockets, who I think Cam Johnson would also be good for. Like I said, he's plug and play on a lot of different teams.
Yeah, and they need shooting.
And if they don't want to give up a ton for Kevin Durant, but also, want a good shooter, and they have Reed Shepherd they could include, and like Reed Shepherd and 10, that, I mean, they have to include some other contracts too, but like that, I think that gets them there, and that's a better deal than what we can offer, and that's a pick higher. So I have a hard time thinking that this will actually be something that the Blazers and Thunder do, unless some of these other teams don't value getting Cam Johnson as much as we did for some reason.
Yeah, and they were asking for a lot for Cam Johnson the trade deadline, so they're going to want quite a bit if I had to guess.
Yeah, but a lottery pick is pretty good.
Yeah, that is good for sure.
He went 11th, right? So like
Was he a lottery? Oh yeah, because they were. Remember, it was kind of surprising on how high he went in the draft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was like rumored to be someone like around the Blazers pick at like 23 or 24. I forget what pick we had. We had a Nas Little fell to us, but Nasir was supposed to go higher, and then he didn't, and then ended up being a good pick.
Man,
that was Tori and my first stream ever together. The first stream on this channel, so that draft, and we both hated that pick for them. They were a younger team, and he was like a little older coming out of college, and
oh yeah.
Yep. And then final bit of news from this past week that I wanted to talk to you about, Brady, was the Toronto Raptors apparently are done with their rebuild as well and are looking to add another big name player star to their roster. And they've actually become one of the favorites to land Giannis.
Yeah.
And then going back to the 2013 draft, it's been pretty well known that Masai has wanted Giannis.
Yeah.
He thought he had a trade to move up to get him in that draft, and so would it surprise me? No, because Masai is just going to keep doing what he thinks is best. I don't think they're ever going to bottom out completely, but I still think it's like weird. Like they finally trade Siakam and OG last year and get rid of, seemingly same type of situation. Looks like they're going to be in a rebuild for a couple of years. And then they trade for Ingram for some reason. And now here they are, rumored to be going after another star. So what did you think when you saw that?
It's not surprising. I feel like the Raptors never, while they did rebuild technically, they've been going after guys that are like 25, 26. So they've been kind of in this weird spot where they're like, it seemed like they never wanted to fully reset. So it's not too surprising to me to see them turn around and, want to do something bigger here. But the problem is just yes, you trade for Giannis and you do that. I just feel like Giannis to Toronto is such it's gonna have to cost him Scotty Barnes if I had to guess. I feel like he'd have to be in it. And now, if we're just talking Milwaukee, I'm assuming maybe it's like a 3 or 4 team trade at the end of the day if this does end up happening. But I assume Milwaukee would covet Scotty Barnes, and I don't think Scotty would fit great next to Giannis anyway. And I feel like Toronto just doesn't have the greatest team that would fit around him anyway right now. But again, if you have the opportunity to trade for Giannis, you do it. So I get that.
Well, as Gregory points out in chat, I think teams are saying, well, Boston and Milwaukee next year both have a star with an Achilles injury that probably won't play. So, I mean, Cleveland, I guess, could still be there, but they've been talking about trading some of their core. So a lot of these teams are probably saying, why can't we be the Pacers next year?
Yeah, that's a good point. You're not wrong, Gregory. So, yeah, I feel like that probably will entice some teams in the East to be like, okay, if we can. And I think some Bucks reporter, or I can't remember exactly who said it. I was watching a video about it today, and they said that Giannis wanted to stay in the East, it seemed like, which was interesting. I don't know how true that was. And yeah, I can't imagine Giannis would be scared. I feel like Giannis would be more than okay with being in Toronto as well. He doesn't strike me as somebody that's demanding to go to a big market or something like that. And I think Toronto could put up a decent package. Are there better ones? I think there are. And obviously Masai Ujiri is, someone that has been very stubborn and very cheap when he tries to trade away. Trades in general. He's just, he's been quoted as a hard negotiator, just very unrealistic. So would he do that same thing, or would he just be like, okay, well, I wanted him years ago, it didn't work out, and now I have my chance. So is he just gonna give up everything to make it happen? It will be interesting to see. And obviously, Giannis hasn't even fully requested the trade yet.
Yeah.
So who knows if he actually will. I feel like inevitably that he should, and he will, but who knows if he will or actually does.
Well, it's just tough for them because, I mean, I don't know how you get good enough to win next year. So what, you're just going to take a year off and then try to win with a even older Dame coming off an Achilles injury? Like,
Right.
I don't know how you fix it there in Milwaukee. Now that that's happened, it's unfortunate, of course, but you just got to deal with reality. And then I've heard that Giannis just all he cares about is winning at least one more championship. So I don't know if he's happy necessarily going to Toronto or not, but he just wants to go somewhere where he feels like he could win another ring. I don't know. I don't know if the East thing is true. I mean, I've heard that too, but I've also heard that like he'd love to play in Golden State with Steph and stuff.
Oh yeah, that too.
And man, if they found a way to get him, that'd be crazy. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things. I mean, we're pretty sure Kevin Durant's going to get traded. I don't think that's going to be salvageable there in Phoenix.
Right.
And so that's for sure happening. But the Giannis thing is the biggest what if of this summer, I think.
Oh, definitely. If Giannis gets traded, then it's gonna be interesting to see what that trade ends up looking like and how much it's gonna cost.
And he was what, third in the MVP voting this year. I mean, obviously Jokic and SGA were by far the top two players in the NBA, but I mean, he was clearly in that next tier, whether you think he was third or not. He's definitely behind those two guys is one of the best players in the NBA. So if he changes teams, that changes the whole dynamic of the NBA. Even more so maybe than the Luka trade a few months ago.
Yeah, and I have some experience of trading for Giannis, so
Yeah. What's been your favorite video you've done with him being traded?
Well, I was talking about the mock where I traded for
yeah, you traded for yeah. Right.
But as far as I have done videos with him being traded too. I haven't done any recently because I mainly try to stick to the prospect. But like I feel like there's a ton of videos where I'm like, well, yes, of course, there's conversations about them trading for Giannis. I'm not gonna do that today. Blah blah blah. But I feel like I've done man, I think I can't remember the last Giannis rebuild I did where I traded him, but I feel like I've done one where I traded him away from Milwaukee, and I think I traded him to Houston one time.
You got him for pretty cheap in the mock-off season.
I did. I was quite surprised by that, and I think I told you, but like, he's the one that came up with the package too. I didn't even have to like do anything.
He was okay.
He just approached me with. I was like, that doesn't even seem like a lot. Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Just throw me AJ Green, and we got a deal. And he was like, okay.
Nice. So, that works. Yeah, Tori and I went through like every team the other day, just talking about like crazy scenarios or who they could trade for. And the honest part, it's difficult because like, you know, handful of teams, it's just like, well, of course, trading for Giannis would be the best.
I was watching that one.
So, it's like, there's so many teams that could make a crazy turnaround if they made a move for him. But obviously, he can only get traded to one team, if any, this summer. So, man, it sure would make things fun if the Blazers found a way to make a big trade like that for once. But yeah, I don't know. I think like the Cam Johnsons of the world is much more likely.
Yeah, I think being involved in the honest trade would just be interesting too. Like, what would we get in return for giving the Bucks their picks back?
It better be something really good if we give up those picks. Like,
definitely.
do not let those go for anything short of just a no-brainer package, and just keep whoever teams involved bluff, like keep calling their bluff until Like if they end up not trading for him, then fine. If it doesn't work out, then you still have those picks. So, and then Giannis would not be happy after that in Milwaukee. Probably demand a trade anyway. So those picks are going to be really valuable, especially if he's traded. So why would you give those up if he's part of the trade going to another team? So you better get insane value on those picks, like they're potentially number one picks.
There's also a world where the Bucks could just get involved with the Pelicans because their picks are earlier.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
like they don't even need us to be involved technically, but
Yeah.
because they could kind of do what Brooklyn did where they only traded for like 2 of their picks back or
Yeah.
whatever. So like I can see that happening too.
Mm-hmm.
But all the scenarios with Zion in a trade now, I think are dead. I mean, I guess he could still be involved, but he wouldn't be like coveted as much as people thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, I still think, I think Houston and OKC obviously have the best packages, but I just don't feel like either one of those teams are going to make, especially the Thunder. I feel like the Thunder would have had to lose to make some kind of trade like that. And the fact
it's still possible.
I mean, it is possible. I just did. I think the fact they made it to the finals. I don't know if they would do that, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brady, it's been fun catching back up with you, talking some ball. Thank you to everyone in chat for tuning in tonight. Tori and I will be back tomorrow night, sometime after the game 1 finishes. So look for that if you're interested. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone who watches this later. Leave a comment about anything we discussed if you have your own opinions. And we hope to see you guys next time. Brady, you want to hit the outro?
Yes, sir. Peace out. Go Blazers.